On June 22nd, 2023, a modder for the game Grand Theft Auto V released a drivable model of the vehicle based on the OceanGate submersible Titan.
Hello and welcome everyone.
4 days earlier, on June 18th, the real-life Titan intended to dive over 12,000 feet below the water's surface to tour the wreckage of the most infamous ship in the history of time, the Titanic, infamously imploded while on such a tour, killing 5 people in the process and captivating the morbid attention of perhaps billions across the globe. The model for the Titan in Grand Theft Auto V looks all but identical to the vessel. The realistically sized hull has a squishy matte finish, almost like a toy you can place on your desk. The functions include a hatch in the front that satisfyingly swings open sideways, yet only allowing one person to enter. Once dropped into the sea, the submersible can move smoothly in all directions, and the reflections of the water and light give an eerie resemblance to the typical murky underwater photos we see of the craft today.
And why did I do this? Some of you may have heard about
According to an IGN article, the creator was paying tribute to the Titan incident, stating that the player can experience diving into the depths with their own in-game OceanGate sub. Of course, the one feature that would complete one's desire to fully experience an authentic recreation of this horrendous incident would be an implosion function, where the submersible would suddenly flatten in 1 millisecond. Debris might fly off, but in one frame it would go from its normal toy-like shape to a morbidly distorted soda can. This functionality could be triggered by the push of a button from a wireless controller that normally operates the game. But to include a feature like this would be crossing the line. Going too far would just be too insensitive to the victims and their families, right? As it turns out, you cannot press the button on the controller to pulverize the sub and make debris fly off. No. You actually have to descend to a certain depth to destroy the vessel. The creator stuck to a more realistic approach.
See what happened. Oh, okay.
At the time of this recording, this feature is not mentioned in the notes of the tribute download page. I have a nasty habit of flicking on my phone the moment I wake up in the morning, revealing the latest headlines to immediately color my day. One day, while flicking, my eye spotted a headline about a submersible touring the Titanic and how it had lost radio communications with its support ship.
Oh, no way.
Reportedly, it had been over 24 hours since they had any contact, but the article went on to reassure that the vessel had enough oxygen for 96 hours. This didn't reassure me in any way. Were they just floating loosely under the ocean? Were there any lights or power? Was the vessel even upright, or was it just spinning and gyrating in random intervals? The thought of being trapped in a tube with 4 other people, with 10,000 feet of water on top of me, in a pitch-black ocean, knowing that oxygen was depleting with every breath I took, consumed my thoughts like a giant purple elephant. Contemplating what I would do in their situation didn't just color my day. It stained it, and the terrible vibe hung ominously over me throughout. The silver lining for me, and undoubtedly many others, was that the passengers probably didn't have to endure the hours and hours of sheer panic and terror we all imagined. It was more likely that the vessel had probably imploded under those unimaginable pressures.
Oh, they died. Oh, thank God.
An implosion like this wouldn't just end the lives of the passengers, but it would do so before any visual, nerve, or pain signal would have ever even reached the brain to be processed. They would have died without having consciousness of it. The perfect death. The dream of every ego-tethered mortal on this planet.
Those lucky bastards.
And even though it hadn't been confirmed yet, my gut told me that this is what happened, and I could feel a deep sense of relief spread through my body. It was euphoric. I'm not sure if you want to use your name or not. Are you comfortable using your name, or would you rather?
You can use my name, it's fine.
Can you please share your name with the audience here?
My name's Glenn Buckner.
I understand that you yourself, quite a wealthy man. Is that true, sir?
I've been successful in my past endeavors, I could put it that way. Compared to Elon Musk, maybe not. But I've not quite retired, but things are pretty good at this point. People in my circle or tier has gotten to this level. Yeah, we definitely like to enjoy certain luxuries and have a lot of flexibility, like going on a sub down to the Titanic or going on a spaceship like Blue Origin or
Glenn, I'm sorry to interrupt actually, but I heard that you almost had a ticket to get on the Blue Origin.
I did have a ticket. One of the tickets was being auctioned off, and I was the initial winner, but due to schedule arrangements, I had to sell it off.
You mean you had something more important to do?
Yes, the economy at that time, we were experiencing a substantial downturn with the market. If I was on that rocket, my face on the news, everywhere, I don't think that would look good for my clients.
That's interesting.
Just the fact that, it's definitely something that's 100% for the sake of having fun on a rocket with Jeff Bezos. So, the shape of the rocket definitely had a double entendre that probably wasn't be good either.
Right. I know you do some base jumping, crocodile wrestling, shark diving, volcano lugeing, all that stuff.
Sure.
But this recent disaster with the OceanGate Titan, what we're talking with you about today.
I haven't been down to the Titanic yet. It's something that's always been on my list. I, however, went down to the Marianas Trench. It's an extraordinary experience, 20,000 meters, and that was a very big rush. We didn't see very much. The odd, strange critter, swimming down there, but it's just the feeling of it. Anything went wrong at all, we just be immediately crushed, and it's so exhilarating. This recent disaster with the OceanGate Titan submersible, has it changed the way you feel about these kinds of risk ocean floor dives? I definitely take it into consideration, but I don't think it's really changed my attitude.
But have you heard about the recent lawsuit? Regardless of the liability waiver that they signed, even though the liability waiver included clauses for death, obvious contracts that are meant to say, no matter what happens, you cannot sue us. How do you personally feel about this?
Well, I would agree with the CEO. I mean,
wow.
I know
that's a startling admission. I hate to use that word, but please, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please. Wow.
Right. Well, I appreciate what OceanGate was trying to do. I'm just a customer. I think it was pretty obvious that those people who went on that ship knew what they were getting into, and I happen to know that they went through days of going through everything and explaining even what the ship was made of, different types of carbon fiber. I know this might sound callous, and I'm sorry if this sounds callous in any way, but nothing can bring back those who were lost, and I feel like it's just common reaction that families might take.
Yes, the actual, as you say, customers of the referred to as mission specialists. Do you think they would agree with this lawsuit?
That's the kind of risk that you take, and we're very much aware of that.
What about the 19-year-old boy, though? The reports were that he was terrified to get into the vessel.
Yeah, I mean, does that change things? No, I don't think so. In the name of innovation and getting things done, nothing would happen if we didn't take these risks.
Mm-hmm. You talked about wanting to see the Titanic. If OceanGate obviously gets their program back going, would you pay the $250,000? Do you think
$250,000 is nothing for me? And everyone's walking around going, oh, $250,000. Why would you spend that type of money? But, they don't understand. That's nothing to me. I would go on an OceanGate sub again. I think that would probably be one of the best options at this point. Probably the safest option. I mean, obviously it's got to be a new sub. But, if it was a different sub, because, they don't want lightning to strike twice. So they're going to make that thing as safe as possible. It's just like when Silicon Valley Bank got taken over by the FIDC. That was probably the safest bank to bank at that time.
In 1987, the 18-month-old baby Jessica was playing with 4 other kids in her aunt's backyard in Midland, Texas. When her mother went inside to answer a quick phone call, she suddenly heard the kids screaming and ran out to find that her daughter, Jessica, had fallen into a well. The incident captivated the attention of America. The nation was stuck to their TV sets around the clock. In 1987, I was just becoming conscious of time, so it wasn't until the 1989 made-for-TV movie, Everybody's Baby, that the incident caught my attention. I was horribly enthralled. The amount of news coverage, gathering neighborhood crowds, hard hats, floodlights, when the drill couldn't drill down any further because the rock was indestructible.
Well, the rock's indestructible. What are they gonna do now, Mommy?
And with still so many feet they had left to dig down to reach baby Jessica.
Oh my God, nothing.
It was easy to see that all the adults thought this was an incredibly big deal, and it absolutely never occurred to me that anything about this was funny.
It's not funny.
In my impressionable mind, I imagined the blackness of that well continuing down beneath her feet forever, and it filled me with an unspeakable terror. Maybe this was the exact time I needed someone to make a joke, but would I have laughed? Was I capable of humor in those moments?
Oh, I love Sour Patch Kids.
Send in the spine board, Steve. Okay.
It was only after she got out that everyone breathed a big sigh of relief and then got to the writer's room to prepare to fill the teleprompters for, say, Letterman or Carson's late-night talk shows. The Simpsons took 5 years to eventually reference the incident,
Mom, it's too big.
Don't worry, you'll grow into it.
while SNL didn't satirize baby Jessica until 1997.
First off, don't lose your cool. You're in a well, so deal with it.
But for the Titan submersible incident, the sheer amount of memes and posts poking fun at the tragedy couldn't come soon enough. The rule of
Too soon, man.
went right out the door, and the rips and punchlines came fast and furious and couldn't get any more fucked up. But was there a sigh of relief to prompt such immediate lampooning of such a disaster? Perhaps the unimaginable conditions of the 5 passengers inside the Titan maybe created the deep need for the memes and posts. Perhaps it was genuine disgust for the perceived wealth or foolhardiness of the passengers and inventor. Maybe it's just the overall cruelty in the nature of humanity that is magnified and encouraged by today's instant ability to communicate with the globe. But maybe it's because people can laugh at anything.
Killer whales. Where are the killer whales eating?
Yeah,
Where?
Five Guys. Did you know they serve subs now?
Yes, for many, these kinds of instant fucked up jokes are understandably offensive, often shocking, but also to many, they're just simply funny, and to some, they're both. I have to admit, I'm one of the latter.
Too much. This joke is just imploding, isn't it?
Funny though.
I was shocked, but for me, knowing that they didn't suffer as I had imagined allowed me to stomach some of the harsher memes meant to be taken with a large swallow of humor. However, I can't help but wonder what would have happened if the Titan had not suddenly imploded and passengers did have to endure those days of torture before running out of air. The panic they would have faced may have been so maddening that at least one passenger may have hysterically attempted to exit the sub, resulting in the others having to violently restrain them or even permanently disable them to save their own precious hours of life they had left. All in a toy soda can floating 10,000 feet under crushing pressures of seawater. We can't help but put ourselves in that sub under those horrifying conditions. A totally unrequested compassion that we want to immediately spit out. Maybe it's just better to make a joke instead. And as much as I want to pardon my own insensitivity to the incident, I can't help but wonder how much more severe and relentless the memes would have been if that was indeed what turned out to be the fate of those poor, rich people. I would want to ask you if you've heard of the engineer, David Lockridge, sending an email to a colleague about the sub, stating, quote, "I don't want to seem like a tattletale, but I'm worried he kills himself and others in a quest to boost his ego." He being Rush, the CEO of the company and inventor.
Yeah. So with regard to David Lockridge, sure. Yeah, he was. I would imagine that he was just doing what he thought was right. You know, according to his training or expert, whatever college degree he had, or whatever. I mean, I'm sure Stockton Rush, felt like he couldn't have someone like that.
But someone like what? Something like what?
As a wealthy person myself, I'm always getting this shit end of the stick with people who are not as wealthy as I am. You know, just normal workers, especially folks who have really fancy college degrees. And I'm sure, no doubt, this David Lockridge person had a PhD or some type of master's degree in whatever field that he was, engineering or something like that. They don't always get what they feel that's due to them after having to go through all that, education and student loan fees and that sort of thing. So yeah, something like that could definitely be a possibility.
So, I mean, but he was right in his assessments, and it seems to me, and according to the media, that he got fired for doing his job.
Jordan, he just didn't get it.
I'm sorry, is this funny, sir?
No, I mean, you just can't have something like that in your organization.
But so, what didn't he get? I'm sorry, Glenn, what didn't he get?
Stockton Rush, he was a brilliant man, and he knew exactly what he was doing, and he's been down in that to the Titanic multiple times, and it worked out very well. But did it work out very well? I mean, we're talking about an imploded sub. Well, not in this particular case, no. But this is the type of the eggs that need to be cracked to make the omelet.
Okay, but I'm sorry, I don't mean to press this, but the sub imploded, and the warnings given by Lockridge, the warnings given by Lockridge followed suit to the failure points of that sub, presumably. So you're telling me that you, in the same position, would still sign a waiver like this, maybe even knowing that these things are likely?
Yes.
Is this what you mean by cracking eggs to make the omelet? What is this omelet?
We're humans, and we like to bungee jump, and we like to go spelunking and deep sea diving and take rockets into space. If it wasn't for people like Stockton Rush, who are not being hindered by regulatory agencies and whining employees, it's people like them that achieve stuff like this, and it's going to happen again, unfortunately.
But you think it's fine? You think it's fine that it'll happen again, and you'll continue to embark?
I do think it's fine that it'll happen again, and I know it's extremely dangerous. So is bungee jumping. So is stepping outside your front door. You can get hit by a bus crossing the street. You can't walk around being afraid of everything. You just got to be able to do the things that you want to do. If you can afford it, I say do it. I definitely do.
You mentioned before that when you were on the seafloor of the Mariana Trench, you didn't see anything, but just being down there. To me, that this goes beyond any interest in seeing the Titanic or seeing some deep sea animals.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, the feeling that I had, surrounded by imminent danger, if one small hiccup or crack could cause that entire vessel that I was on to get crushed like a can. And so yeah, it was absolutely exhilarating, even though I wasn't seeing anything. The experience of going down to deep crushing darkness was absolutely worth it. That goes beyond like adrenaline rush.
It's interesting that you say it's beyond an adrenaline rush. How do you feel knowing that the vast majority of people on the planet don't even know what you're talking about?
Personally, just between me and you, it feels pretty good.
What about these memes of the millionaires, poking fun at the millionaires?
Well, everybody makes fun of millionaires. I mean, that's just part of it. The richer you are, I feel like the more made fun of you get. Jeffrey, or Jeffy Bezos, or Elon Musk, or anyone else. I would, they get the most memes out of anyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's very fast after the incident, and right away they're attacking billionaires and things like this. Why do you think they feel they can do this?
Honestly, I think they're just jealous.
Really?
I think they're just fucking jealous. Absolutely. It's all in good fun, sure, but if they have such a big problem with it, they should work towards getting more money.
Because they wish they can be able to experience beyond adrenaline.
Oh yeah, the haves and the have-nots sort of thing.
So you had this moment coming up from the Mariana Trench. What did you do with that? What did you do the night after that amazing rush?
Well, I just kind of hung out and watched TV. It was really nothing else. Nothing else can compare to.
You have family you could share it with. You have some way you can.
No one else can understand. What you've been through.
I see. So you do this, and you're not sharing with people. You just went to your room, and what's a cabin on the boat, or?
Yeah, we had a cabin on the boat. I just ate some pizza. Had some Pepsi, and just watched Survivor.